Tadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param. Om Shanti 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 Om. So the page was 1751, ninth chapter. On the verse, the previous verse, we were dealing with the topic of devotion, of course. And the Krishna was talk about the fact that if one makes a resolve and somehow redirects one's life towards the understanding of God's nature, which leads to the invitation for the other understanding of Aham Brahmasmi, God's nature is identical with my very nature. Therefore, I am free, limitless, independent, conscious existence. So he was saying that this process, uh, this process is going to change the directions of one's life, regardless of the stage we find ourselves in. He says, like, the good thing about devotion is that it serves all people from all different stages of development. From wherever we stand, we can turn towards God and start moving into this devotional attitude, spirit, which must permeate the effort to try to understand the nature of God in the light of the teachings of the Vedas and Vedanta. And then he was saying even bad people can attain liberation. In the verse 33, he says, in the 32, he was saying, even if the person is in bad shape, has a bad karma, even if the person has an emotional attitude, even the person is completely tamasic, even if the person is very rajasic and not really dharmic. So anyone who makes a direction towards me, it's already almost like potentially is a saint because it has made the most important resolve in one's life, in one's birth. So we understand that, and then he went describing all these people who were not very advantaged because they came with a lot of papan, they came with a lot of difficult parabada in other circumstantial manners, But in spite of one's parabada karma, in spite of one's limitations and the papans to be yet exhausted, and the people, they are going to reach, they understand the Ham Brahmasmi sooner or later once they make such a resolve. The point here is the resolve, how strong this resolve is. I don't know if you did have the time to look into the class, but we went through these things pretty much. So now he's saying, so after having said everything, he says, so if everybody who is in a disadvantage can turn the direction of their life towards me and attain liberation, what to say of the good people, of the virtual brahmins in the verse 33? What to talk of these good people, these virtual brahmins, or the sage, who lives in a very, very high devotional stage, devout royal sage, having come to this impermanent and joyless world, they worship me, even more firmly. So people who are in more advantage, they got a birth, which is already, moving with the spiritual current towards spiritual development. So they come with this spiritual devotional vasanas, and then things become easier to them. But even if you come with different vasanas, it's still the beauty of the human free will is this one, because we are not just a program machinery without any saying in regards to our coding. Our now in the AI world they talk about coding, so we can we can recode ourselves, we can remodel ourselves, because we have a free will and say, so I'm following a program here, the materialistic, atheistic program that is not bringing about happiness. So I heard that there is a different coding, a different programming that is spiritual, religious programming that is going to take me into happiness. So, since human beings are programmed entities, programmed by what? Programmed by vasanas. How those vasanas develop? Develop, as a byproduct of my interaction with the field of interaction around me, and largely lately by the mass media, by the official narrative, the propaganda. So now most people are losing the ability to somehow direct what kind of programming they want to live, because the attack against religious institutions, even our sampradaya is so great there in India. And most people, they fall for those official narratives, they get brainwashed. But in spite of whatsoever bad information, bad narrative, bad programming we may have this spike of free will that says, no, there is something wrong here. I heard that I can turn my life towards God, and that is going to transform my life experience. This free will allows us to do that, change of direction. And so, what you say about people who are already living in great advantage, like the virtuous brahmins and the royal sage, they are already living in this impermanent meteor world, which in reality is joyless. So those expressions appear here and there in our sampradaya to invite people to find the the ultimate uh, the ultimate fact in every and all joys we get from this world. They come with so much defect, you know, and then they say, so it's better you take this as a fact that there is no joy in this world. So we have that expression. The joy is not in any object of this world. The joy is a state of mind that requires a certain transformative process we see in the mind, so that the person can tap into this source of peace and joy, the inner joy. So, and here he presents these more evolved souls, saying that they have understood that every joy here is impermanent. And in fact, this world is, in truth, joyless world. There is no joy intrinsically to any object of the experience of this world. And then he says, so this highly uh, fav favored or advantage and virtuous or brahmins, and among others, they enjoy the merits of whatsoever spiritual development they attained over many births. Nothing happens just by chance. Then he talks about the handicraft. I'm just doing a little context. He talks about the handicaps of people who are more in, here he was a present the four castes, so to speak, the four configurations of gunas that classifies people as brahmins, as business people, as police force, and as the labor block of people. Okay, So more tamaguna, and then some tamaguna with rajaguna, and then a lot of rajaguna, with tamoguna, and then a lot of with a lot of rajoguna with satvaguna, and then a lot of rajoguna with some a lot of satvaguna and some rajoguna in the case of the brahmins. Né? So what talk about these people? These people, they are really in a good position. The very birth of these people came with these spiritual oriented vasanas. No? They are not addicted or craving for objects of security and pleasures. They see the defect in all of that. They see that none of that delivers indeed its promises. No? So the person needs to be born already and mature enough, again, just to exemplify. I'm a little bit mathematical today. Just for exemplify in my life, I just I was meant to take my career and make money and fulfill the expectations of my mother, my father, and then somehow, yeah, I thought this world is not for me. I cannot live this life. The values of society, they seem to be absurd. I did not know what I was doing. It was everything, it was subconscious, the whole process. I blew my profession, I blew everything to become something that often I refer as a spiritual vagabond. Okay, and my profession, I was going in a very good direction, and my position, that company, and so on. So these people, they come with these somehow vasanas that tells them, no, I mean, I'm not going to move with the crowd. Then always for security and entertainment and acquisition of properties, acquisition of assets, and money and prestige and social position. So I'm not going to move in that direction. So some advice come with that. So, but these people who come with that and find the karma, the parabada favorable to them, which was not my case, then life, spiritual evolution for them is like a easy sailing, as an expression used in the United States. It's a easygoing sailing. Huh? So we have seen that. Therefore, guna, brahmana, is these brahmins, or those guys who are the police force, the army force. They are there to sustain the dharma, to protect the dharma, to restore the dharma. Yeah? And these people, they have good sattva guna, which allows them to see the value of dharma and having a tendency to want to protect dharma. This is in an ideal society. So this is a good class of people. After this class comes the commercial people, the business people, as we know. And they must observe Dharma to be within this classification, this Vedic classification. This Vedic classification means to say everybody here is a religious person, okay? And they observe Dharma to begin with. So these people, especially the Kshatriyas and the Brahmanis, they advantage people, as Swami present to us. And then and then Krishna, he just presents its own question for our benefit, say, so you could say, Arjuna, so if even those people with a lot of disadvantage can reach me for sure if they turn their lives toward me, what you say about these Punya people, these Brahmanis and these Kshatriyas and so on, these people with great advantage. So how about them? Yeah? That's the point here. And Swamiji talks about the fact that for people with this kind of purity, with this kind of wisdom, with this kind of maturity, they live life and they take life more like a play. You understand? They don't take it as seriously. Huh? It just takes things as it comes, plays according to the rules of the game of life. Huh? So they have a more clear, scientific, and efficient mind to transacting the world, transforming those activities in spiritual development. Yeah? Not naturally, they must observe Dharma very, very, very successfully. So these people, they are in great advantage, of course. Yeah? So you turn to me because you are a great general, huh? You are one of the greatest among all kshatriyas, huh? And among all generals or warriors protecting Dharma. So you were great. You're coming just right there with the brahmanis, you know. So you are highly qualified. You have this advantage, so therefore, don't hesitate. Follow my instructions. Turn your life towards me. Worship me as presented in the teachings of Kama Yoga. And, uh, and never wait for tomorrow. Huh? So just begin today. You don't know tomorrow, Arjuna. You may die in the battlefield. You know, I told you that in the battlefield, just a handful of people will survive. Don't wait to see the result. Just begin now. Yeah? Don't wait for retirement. Don't wait to have enough money in the bank. Be a devotee of God and make an effort to understand properly these relationships so that you can live a happy life and in the process develop the qualifications for self-knowledge and moksha. Therefore, start now. Then Swami talks about if you haven't matured enough, which was not the case of Arjuna, but talking to ourselves, to us, the people from from the Western world. So he says, so if you cannot really be a good karma yogi, at least sit for a few moments, and chant a nice mantra in glorifying God, and uh, begin some prayers to God so that God can help me to mature and to grow so that I can properly appreciate this opportunity, take advantage of that, and grow as rapidly as possible, developing this value. So you don't need to be a highly evolved Vedantin studying the Upanishads. So begin from where you stand. That's the point here. If you are too busy, no problem. Remember, every morning when you get up, remember the Lord has kept you alive during the night. Now you're standing up. Before anything, just give thanks to the pranas that kept your body alive, knowing that pranas are excellent symbols, né, of the glory of God. So remember to thank God for that, you know, and then uh, and then prepare the coffee and so on, and give thanks to God for the opportunity of having everything still here. The body is alive. The world is still standing. There is no nuclear war. Let's hope it won't happen. Start your cough. Do namaskara to the cough, knowing that it came from the Lord, and pray. So shanti, shanti, shanti. Open my mind so that I can more profoundly understand these teachings and appreciate this opportunity and live a life in a conduct of spiritual development and worship and devotion. You must start somewhere, and if you don't have much time, use a few minutes, but just start doing something to thank God, to appreciate God, and to grow into understanding of this most fundamental relationship between Jivatma and Ishwara Atma. Therefore, do not postpone. If you wait too long, this Papaji used to play with it, pull our legs, provoke us. So if you wait too long, the body is going to become older, health problems will surface, your eye may drop in, in quality, so you don't manage to read the scriptures anymore. No, and then say, no problem, I'm gonna hear the audios because we live in a very modern society. But the ear has gone down as well, and your ear equipment broke, and you don't have money to buy a new one. So we do not know. So just begin out, Best thing you do is to spend some time with your spiritual sadhana. The rest will take care of itself. Krishna concludes this topic in the next verse 34. Fix the mind on me, O Arjuna, my devotee. Keep me as your supreme goal. The purpose of your life is to understand my nature so that farther down the road you understand my nirguna nature and you understand the statements of identification and my jiva nirguna nature and the nirguna nature of Ishwara. Fixing the mind in this manner with understanding, with remembrance of my supreme goal. Never lose this perspective that me alone, who am the self, is the goal to be reached. And it's not that you're going to reach like traveling to meet God. You're going to slowly understand the Saguna nature of God. And then once you really understood, once you understood how to relate to this world, which is Ishwara in its Saguna configuration, and then you're going to sooner or later get in contact with the Upanishads that reveals the true nature of Sagunishwara as Nirguna Atma. Yeah? Therefore, worship me, turn your mind to me, fix your mind in me, understand my nature until you reach this understanding that I am one without a second. I am conscious and existence. There is only one self, and this self is of the Nirguna nature. So the lifestyle of the devotional is delineated here in this verse. This is a beautiful verse, a popular verse, who talks about the devotee, the bhakta. What is the type of life that a devotee must lead? It's beautifully defined here. What means by fixing your mind in me? Remember that I am the goal, the means and the beginning. There is an expression that says that. How does they say? I am the beginning, the middle, and the end. I am the means, the goal, and something like that. So if somebody asks what is a devotee, a bhakta, what is the type of life the person must lead, this verse gives us some hints. 5 factors are mentioned here, says Swamiji. I will reorganize the words for the sake of a better understanding. and of these five factors built into this verse. It should be fix the mind in me, my devotee, keep me as a supreme goal, worship me, surrender me, and then reach me by understanding my nirguna nature as your very nirguna nature. It's five factors I mentioned here. Devotion, develop devotion or love towards me, develop bhakti towards me. So now Swami is going to talk in terms of Sakama, Niskama, Bhakta. Bhakti, we have seen it very, very extensively. He says that, as we know, the Lord can be looked upon as a means to gain worldly things, worldly ends, or the Lord can be looked upon as an end in itself. Okay. In the beginning states, you need not to look up God as an end if you are not prepared for that. You need not look up God as an end. Bhagwan is ready to accept that. He says, if you can't, if you are still a Sakama Bhakta and you want things of this world, you don't want the Lord by itself for itself. And here we need to here, try this one. Eh, you don't, so in which way you gonna take God as an end in itself? I already spoke, we had this conversation a few times already. So as a means, we know, as a means, I worship God because I want things of this material world, or I just uh, I just worship God as an end, meaning to say, I don't want to worship God, love God, appreciate God for getting favors from God, worldly favors, attaining, gaining things of this world. So I just want to love God, and the only thing that I want to get is more and more devotion because it feels good to love. A lot of people sees God as a means to gain things from this world, but a lot of people relate to God apparently as an end by itself, but yet it's more like I love God, I became a devotee, I drop tears of love. There is no human emotion higher than this, and then that experience, it's so freeing, it's temporary, it's impermanent. I get so much from that. And then it appears that I love God as an end, but it's not as an end because I'm squeezed some juicy. The juice is, that devotional feeling that is so easily verified if one goes to Tiruvannamalai and sees the energy of love in that ashram through all the pujas and all the sadhanas, And so you go there, you love, you don't want to ask anything. I just want to be bathed into this amazing emotion or feeling called devotion to the Lord, worshiping the Lord. So it becomes God not for the gain of worldly things, but I want to gain something which is still material by nature because it is a certain mental state but it's better, even better. And then what would be to look at God as an end in itself? So to look at God as an end in itself, we could say, is to come to a point, even that there is another intermediary stage, because if you, after some time, you get a little bit like sweet sugar, sweet that little thing that you how you say?
Sweet taste.
Yeah. como é que chama em português aquela coisa, aquele pão de açúcar, aquela coisa de açúcar que é doce? Doesn't matter. So you go to the ashram and then you start getting that incredible juice and it's so sweet and that love, 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 love. And then after a few years say, okay, but I became dependent on that atmosphere to get that kind of feeling of devotion, which fulfills my heart. So the goal there is to have that feeling. And then you hear that to go beyond that, you need to love God as a means to understand God and not just love God, but understand God. Because if you understand this Saguna God, you're gonna gain something more valuable, which is spiritual preparedness for Yan Yoga, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa, uh, Upanishadic. Okay, so and then we have this stage. So okay, now okay, it's a great joy to love God. It's wonderful, but somehow I got hooked. I depend on this environment. Now I heard that I can find God as an end in itself. Find God as an end is find God as your very nirguna atma nature. Okay. So in between, you may say, now I look for God. I don't want things from this world. I don't want things from the spiritual, devotional world. I don't want those mental, wonderful feelings of love, but I want the qualifications needed so that I can understand the real nature of this God that I love so much as my very nature. That is God as an end in itself. So, what sort of a level of our relationship, devotional relationship with God is okay according to our scriptures? Krishna does not condemn anything. The important thing is to make the resolve to recognize that there is a creator and begin moving in the direction of understanding this God in the most mature way possible according to each one of us. And that understanding should be not only rational, but also should be permeated with a feeling of gratitude, reverence, love towards the Creator. But Bhagwan accepts anything if you're a materialistic person, if you're rajasic, or if you have family with children and so on. So there is no problem. You must learn to understand the nature of God so that you develop love towards God, appreciation towards God. At least appreciation, love as a means to achieve or to fulfill your worldly desires, which can call as Sakama Bhakti or Artati Bhakti. When you use the Lord for this purpose, usually the person is more Rajasic and has a karma that requires the person to interact a lot in the marketplace, with children and so on. So if you lean on the Lord is going to somehow facilitate. And in which way the Lord is going to facilitate? By pacifying your mind. The moment that you understand that you are unable to control your the results of your endeavors, so you are going to express failure and success, failure and success. The moment that you understand that, and then you understand there is a higher power, the supreme intelligence takes in account all factors on the field. So I develop this understanding, and this understanding makes my mind more sattvic. I become more efficacious, and I take the results as prasada, and I have much better chance to be successful in the world. Whereas if I just think that all depends on me, that creates a burden. If I think that all depends on my efforts, that is going to undermine one's self self-esteem, because more often than not, the person, especially the person who did not take God into account, is going to experience failure. We are talking about religious people who observe Dharma. Most of all of these billionaires, they don't observe Dharma at all. Huh? You will talk about religious people, Rajasic people who are devotees of God. They want things of this world. They are more successful than the atheists, the people who believe that they can do things on their own. So even it has been statistically proved that a person who turns toward God, a person who is a religious person, regardless of the concept of God the person holds, may be a more infantile or more mature. Generally speaking, the mind is pacified once the mind has brought God into one's life equation, you know? So it's like there are many as examples Swami present here and there. So if the child knows that the mother is just around the corner, so the person is going to feel stronger, more pacified, the child, you know? So why? Because I know I have my mind, my mother to back me up, and she's just walking behind me here. Yeah? So peace of mind, confidence is there. I have my mom behind me, I have my father, I have God behind me. So that makes a lot of difference. What Krishna says, in whatsoever form you worship me, I will fulfill your desire. So this is the first stage. Use God as an assistant, your assistance for navigating this world with a mind which was pacified by devotion. To a certain degree, the mind was pacified through devotion, and it's more fit, it's more qualified for achieving worldly results, success in one's desires. In fact, in all the Puranas, uh, this attitude and this fact is presented. No, so if you had God, you feel much more secure, psychologically stronger, and you have much better chance to succeed and be happy. And then by doing so, you're going to graduate to another level of bhakti, because maturity brings a clear understanding that whatsoever worldly gains I get in my life, they don't deliver what they promise. Society says that you're going to be happy with this. If you get this, you're going to be super happy, blah, 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 blah. But it does not deliver. So one understand that and say, okay, I got a nice relationship with God. I have the ability to have a nice, more pacified, sattvic mind that makes me more efficient in my transactions. I observe Dharma, so everything is going for me. I have everything going for me. So, but the person sees that in spite of that, I cannot really establish a permanent sense of peace and security and happiness. Now, and why? Because happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is not intrinsically contained in our success, in our objects of desires that were achieved or realized as a source of security and happiness. So you're going to have success. My first guru used to say something. It's one of those those proverbs that nothing fails more than success. You heard that, no, Mark? Why? Because as long as you do not have any success, you hope that if you succeed, you're gonna have success, and then you're gonna find the happiness you are aiming, you are working for. And then when you get success, and then you see that success did not deliver it, you know, and then it's the greatest failure possible because now you realize that success does not deliver as well. No? It's like that joke in India. The guy is in the train, and the the ticket collector came on those days. Now he said, "Ticket, please, ticket, please, ticket, please." And then the person is, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, I put it somewhere." He started looking in all his pockets. Did you hear this joke? No? Okay. Because
First time.
I repeat my jokes from time to time. So the guy is there looking for the ticket, and the ticket collector, there is thousands of people in an Indian train, as we know. They say, "Come on, guy, move on. Cadê? Do it." And then the guy is spending time looking. And he was using a shirt with a pocket here, yeah, on his chest. And then the ticket collector said, "I see, look in this pocket. You're not to look in this pocket. Come on, you're looking everywhere. You don't look into this pocket." And then the guy saying, "Don't mention that. Never bring this pocket into this conversation." Why? Because this is my last hope. If I fail here, and then I'm screwed.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, very nice.
So we keep
Yeah.
always our last hope. You understand? Okay, nothing has delivered, but now if I get that boat, if I get that nice house, if I get certain amount of millions in the bank, we keep only, a hope in one of our pockets to say, "Now one day my success are going to deliver." You understand, Philip? Yes. It's a nice joke. I love that joke. So maturity brings the person to that point, There's nothing that's going to provide me really happiness. Doesn't matter going to another country, another city, another house. There is no joy in things of this world. But immature people keep projecting happiness on certain uh, circumstantial situations, parameters. So how can things of this world, which are impermanent and insecure by nature, give security to human beings? How can one person who is insecure by nature provide security to one's husband or wife? Even if you have a lot of money, a cataclysm can come and destroy everything. You lose your property, and then you say, "It doesn't matter, but at least I have my documents that I own that piece of land." Go and find the documents. The documents were buried and burned. I know I go to the office nearby, it was burned as well. Now you own nothing, not even that piece of land. Therefore, you take Brahman, Nirguna Brahman as the goal of life. This is understand God as the end, your very nature. God was converted into your higher goal, your supreme goal. So Param Anyanam means what? Ultimate goal of life. So from sadhana, Bhagwan has become sadhya, the goal. Oh, very nice. What is the next state? Once Bhagwan has become the primary goal, your mind does not or should not lose sight of the goal. You should keep the ultimate goal in your mind all the times. It says here, another aspect of this one here. Fix the mind on me. When? All the time. Remember me as the real purpose of your life. Okay? So my devotee should keep the mind on me at all times. So you cannot keep it on the conscious mind, but subconsciously by having such a vasana working for you, everything is God. Yes, everything is God. And I appreciate the opportunity. So what the next state? I should keep this ultimate goal in my life at all times. In your preoccupation, day-to-day preoccupation, you may have other goals. I need to close a deal. I need to collect the rental. I need to build a new house. I need to get my children educated properly. So there are several other worldly goals which are okay, especially when one does not get obsessed about those goals, but it's mostly obsessed with trying to understand the true nature of reality, the true nature of God. So you can have all these goals, but through all of that, you never should forget the real purpose of your life. How are you going to do that? This supreme goal, this real goal, this doubtless goal, not subject to forgetfulness, cannot be there on the conscious mind at all times. It has to be established in your vasana load. You have to develop a vasana in respect to the ultimate goal, the ultimate purpose of this burst of mind. It's there in the subconscious mind as my real goal. And then again, so I'm bringing this very nice analogy, such as a musician that they are playing instruments, different instruments together with other players, but never lose sight of the tambura shruti, the basic rhythm or something like that. Therefore, no music at all. What is he doing? He's listening to the tambura shruti carefully. Who will sit in front of him? So you expect him to sing, wow, raga, ba, 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 ba. I don't relate to any of that. There is no thinking involved. It's all happening subconsciously. Okay? He is observing and he's not going off symphony, off harmonization with the other players. Because whatsoever improvisation, let's say, the musician may do in the back of the mind, the basic tempura shruti is there. You understand? Similarly, do not forget your destination. Keep this Treva Mumukshu Bhava. This is the third stage. Is never forget the real purpose of this birth, our true goal. So what is the next factor present in this very rich verse? Convert every action of yours into worship of the Lord. Worship me when at all times through all actions. This will contribute to your spiritual growth. Utilize every moment converting those actions, thoughts, words into spiritual sadhanas. Whatever you do, remember, eating can be converted to a sadhana of purification. It's all very simple. You should not eat immediately. You should remember God because God is behind the production of that food and he's behind the power, the fire that is going to digest the food into our stomach. Never eat immediately what's served. Remember God. Thank God. Do not just swallow the food without remembering and offering your gratitude to God first. Do namaskaram to the food, acknowledging that the food is God. It's a gift to the Lord. And then eat. By doing so, eating becomes a spiritual sadhana. Convert everything into a spiritual sadhana, a yajna. Even sense pleasures can be converted into yajna. We have seen it in the 4th chapter. Therefore, Madhyaji Bhava, worship me at all times through every one of your actions. Remember, I'm behind it. So again, we cannot do that on the conscious level. Therefore, we have to remember as often as possible so that if we are having lunch, a business lunch with some people, we don't need to stop our prayers, stop to do our prayers, even though you can do that, depending on the culture, you know. But inwardly, you remember, you know, this this business deal. I'm grateful to God. This food here, I'm grateful to God. You know, in my silent mind, I can just say thanks to God. I am a Kami Yogi, yeah? A silent Kami Yogi. 4th chapter has covered much of this. So, what is the 5th aspect or factor in this verse? You will progress spiritually. That is the promise. If you are following these steps, you will certainly grow spiritually. But remember, when you grow spiritually, do not become vain or arrogant. Pride goes before a fall. So I mean to say, if you develop pride, vanity, and arrogance, it means that you're going to fall very, very soon. Therefore, all the time, whatever growth you are getting is because of the grace of the Lord. And the future, at all times, it's always that my success requires my own efforts, but most important, the grace of the Lord. Therefore, surrender to my laws, surrender to me, surrender to my laws, surrender to my karma law. Okay, understand these laws, understand my system. Okay, and develop true humility, humbleness, and be grateful for this opportunity. And know that the results they are up to I as my very, very karmic system. Surrender to my karmic system. You're gonna feel protected in my shelter, and you will follow all the spiritual sadhanas regardless of your activities. It indicates as well that you must exercise your free will, the importance of grace and the importance of our personal efforts. Do spiritual sadhana. This at the beginning especially requires more effort. You need to decide to do so. The same way you have decided to turn your life towards me, now you have to decide to remember me and turning all your experience in life to sadhanas, spiritual sadhanas. Use your free will for that purpose. The importance of grace, the importance of free will. So it's a sign of a mature soul that understand the way they are both intertwined. So those are the beautiful factors that makes a devotee a great devotee. Now, first of all, develop devotion to me, make me the ultimate purpose or goal of your life. Do not lose sight of your goal. Never forget your goal. Go through the day-to-day goals of life, knowing that you are doing something with a certain spirit, taking challenge as prasada and offering and offer your actions, with a spirit of contribution to the field, this very interconnected, complex field of all karmas interacting simultaneously. Convert every moment of your life into a process to purify and refine your mind. Always surrender, the fifth factor, always surrender to the Lord and do everything knowing that it's Lord's blessings. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm blessed by God. How so? It's keeping my mind on, my body is still healthy enough, my Viveka Shakti activated. So I'm surrendered to this higher power and doing everything knowing that is all due to the bless of the Lord. If these factors are fulfilled, Krishna says, engage yourself in this devotional lifestyle, religious lifestyle, Vedic lifestyle. You will certainly attain this understanding of my nature, nirguna, atma, as the same as your very nature, the limitless consciousness. You attain this understanding, which is present here as moksha. So does bhakti will take the person to self-knowledge and moksha. No, it begins as devotion, dualistic devotion for different means, and then we enter in the last stage in which devotion turns to become self-knowledge and moksha. Whatever the level you find yourself in, just begin. Start with devotion. Devotion is the key. God can be imagined even as a person, although God is a system. Gradually, you will grow and your vision, understand of God will also mature and grow. No? You're going to go from God with one single form to God with all forms, and then later on to God free of forms. Right? Thus ends the ninth chapter named Rajavidya, Rajaguya Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of the Upanishads, which deals with Brahman knowledge as well with preparatory disciplines to prepare the mind for that knowledge. And always present in the form of a dialogue between the Guruji, the Sadguru, Lord Krishna, and Arjuna, the perfect student. Om Tat Sati Hari Om. Namaste. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Mudachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. So I haven't heard from
Oh,
you.
okay. Yeah.
Shall we meet
But
tomorrow?
very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Arlindo. Very nice indeed. Okay. Yeah.
Good to have you back. And we meet tomorrow again?
Yeah, I'll be here all this week, so
Okay.
I've
And
got the
then I
afternoons
will
free this week.
confirm our class for tomorrow, and let's see. I hope there is nothing nothing wrong with sleep.
Yeah, right.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to
Okay.
see you. We meet again tomorrow.
Thanks, Arlindo.
Bye bye.
Okay, likewise. God bless.